my name is Jimmy Hrabchak, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a lotus flower out of a paper square. To begin with, you need a piece of paper. It would be best if it's square, but if it's not square, you can always just rip off the extra part like I just did and make it square. Alright, so you have your piece of paper. First thing you do is you fold it in half, being careful to make sure that the ends are even with each other and that you have a nice crease down the center, like so. After that, you open it up and do the same thing again with the opposite corners. Folding it in half, making sure the points are nice and even, and a nice solid crease. Now, when you open up your paper, you'll have a nice square and you'll be able to fully recognize the center of the piece of paper. Next step is to take each corner individually and make sure that the very point of it is in the very center. Then again, making a nice solid crease. Repeat for each corner of your paper until you now have a new square that has been fully folded. Hopefully, your paper now looks something like this. Once you have your first four corners pointed towards the center, you are now going to do it again. Doing the exact same thing, taking all four corners, putting them in the very center of the paper, creasing it beautifully, and going around and doing it to the next, creasing it, next one in the center. Try to get as centered as possible, because this will affect how well your lotus flower turns out in the end. Now that we've just folded our paper into the center twice, we're going to do it one more time. Each corner to the very center. At this point, I'm assuming it's going to get more difficult to crease your paper like mine, and that is okay. There is not much more folding to do. Try to do it as best you can, even though it is getting harder to crease, and it is getting smaller and smaller. Now that we've folded it into the center 3 times, we're going to flip it over and do it again to the other side of the paper. No more creasing to do. That was the easy part. Now we are going to get into the harder part. Now that we've made our last fold, we're going to take each corner and roll it up. Make it point upwards. Not really folding it like the last times, but we're kind of making it up. You can kind of put your finger right here, just make it a little bend right there. All 4 corners. Hopefully you'll get something like this. Alright, now comes the hard part. We're done with the folding. All we have to do now is flip it around to the back, take one of these little pointy things that's sticking out, and you're going to have to try and roll it over the crease that we just made. Doing our best not to rip it, and hopefully getting a petal something like this. And you're going to do that to all 4. The tricky part here is not ripping it, as it's more of a rolling folding. And once you get this down, you have something that looks pretty nice on it. Now that we have the first 4 petals out, we're going to flip around to the back and do it one more time, pulling these little corners out and sort of rolling it up so that it doesn't rip. And there you go. Another row of petals. You can do that for all 4. And if you're careful enough, and you do it slowly to all 4,
we have 2 rows of petals. But if you remember right, we folded it in 3 times. So there's 1 more row of petals that we can do if you have enough time. And you do the exact same thing. You can have a 3rd row of petals, and your lotus flower is complete.